I'm Mr. BeetleBum, and we're back with map strategies. And this map strategy today is for highway. I've loved this map since it came in. So I hear some people say that it's boring. I like the map in all of its different versions. It's funny, the version before it is now. Now it's really high definition and absolutely gorgeous, especially if you use the night mod for games like I do. It's absolutely beautiful when you see the sky. But there's a little tidbit. If you started in the spawn here and were working your way towards the city, and this is gone now, but it's just funny, some of you out there might remember this. Over here on, like outside the map, you used to have these clouds that were in the perfect formation of the Twin Towers. It was pretty trippy actually seeing them. That being said, enough. Let's get into it. We want to make these videos quick and short and we're to the point, so enough of that. Lights, TDs, mediums, heavies, arty, and let's go from there. Again, you got your three flanks, of course. You always want to go like this, or you could go the other way too, but this is how I separate this one into three flanks. Quite simply, your lights. The most important part of this game is lights. The hardest class to master is lights. So unfortunately, a lot of times what we get is, newer players jumping into lights because they want to play the wheelies or they want to be out front. And unfortunately, they go to some spots where it's not really helping the team as much. So let me give you a couple pointers as where, you should be going. This corner right here is one that sucks in a lot of lights, okay? But remember the rule. If you're going to an area where your tanks are already going to, and they're going to be able to spot just as much as you, there's no reason for you to be there. So in other words, what I'm saying is if a light, races up here, or races up here, basically what happens is a couple mediums follow them, and then they're not really spotting anyone, and they get into like a gunfight. And as a scout, you don't want to get into a gunfight. Yes, you think, oh, I need damage, but if you watch my how to play a light videos, you're going to realize if at the beginning of the game you want to spot for your team and get their guns doing the damage, and you want to accumulate your damage from about the mid spot of the game on, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to get a great win 8 number and do plenty of damage. But at first you want to scout for the team. So if you're this spawn, the number one place to go at from the north is come along here. You can poke here, you can poke here. You can, even if you're daring, come over to this side and there's these bushes all in here that you can sneak into. Get in the bush, not behind it, get in the bush and sit. Because tanks are gonna be going this way, and if you're on the side of the bush, they're gonna be able to spot you clear as day, okay? So if you go to at least, maybe even this bush, if you're not as adventurous, as I like to be, don't go here, then maybe go to this bush right here, or this bush, or this bush, even this bush. If you get there right away before everyone starts crossing, then you're gonna be able to do it without getting spotted, and that is so much better than going up to the corner. I can't get those spots to go away. Oh well, much better than that. And for this side here, again, you can come down along here and park in the bush, come down along here and park in this bush, or even go up here and then park in that bush. Again, any one of those spots are going to see any of the tanks that are coming here, and then your TDs that are behind you can shoot them for you. And that way you can remain hidden, being the passive scout, and keep spotting. The old meta used to be that you would come you'd come along here with a light and spot across here, or you'd come over to this bush here and spot across there. If there's more than like 2 lights on your team, sure, one of you go that way. But again, don't go into town. Once you go into town, you're not spotting anything. You're only spotting what all the other tanks can see around the corner. You need open areas for spotting. So that's why it's good to run along maybe to this tree if you want, come down here or something. That would make sense. Even just, coming along here and staying on the highway is even good enough. You can still spot plenty. So those are your main places for lights. The main area that you want to focus on is in this area right here. Hands down, without a doubt, numero uno, most important for your scouts. And why? Because the TDs have bushes here and here. That's it for that side. And on this side, you got bushes here, up here. You can even go down here on this bush if you want. And if you're ballsy like me, you actually come along and slide into here and try to play off of these bushes right there. And you fire this way, and they're going to be firing this way at you. That's why I say it's so important to do this middle area, because honestly, guys, this is where most of the battle is won and lost when it comes to the mediums and the TDs and whatnot. Okay? Yes, you got other positions. Those are the main positions right there for TDs. Those are your most important. Sure, one can come up here and shoot, but guys, think about it. If you put a TD here, he's only going to be shooting at stuff that if they come over this way. With the meta today, most tanks don't even come over there, so you're going to be sitting there doing nothing. Yes, a lot of tanks come up, to the corner spot, so that's why it's much better here to be able to snipe them as they're coming out across or coming at you. There's also this little hill right here that you can go to, and there's also behind the bushes here, of course, that TDs hide when they start advancing. This position is for the early onset, so that you can see any of these guys that are being aggressive and you can shoot them. Same with this side. If these guys are being aggressive, you can shoot them. Now, as the game progresses, and let's say these mediums here get to the corner and they start coming this way, now this is the location. Vice versa, if you're going this way and all of a sudden these guys start pushing, then it's in the bushes along right here. That's the best place to be. Okay, so remember that. That's a key thing. Forward for when they're pushing to the corners, and then back here and back here for when they're coming at you. All right, let me erase this. Mediums and heavies, real easy. Mediums, we tend to see some go up here, which is good. You can be a mix and match. You can have a TD in there, maybe like a T67, a fast TD, whatever, that kind of thing. They're going to go in there. But the main thing is for heavies to go along in here for both spawns. Go town, because you got, again, remember guys, already safe, already safe, already safe. You're a heavy. You're probably not the fastest tank. You got good armor, but you can get picked apart easily if you're out in the open and already catch you. Okay, so get to town, get the coverage. You don't need a scout in there, because most heavies can see just as good as you can around corners and everything, and proxy spotting. So it's not a big deal to have a light in there. A medium, though, a couple mediums thrown in there, of course, is awesome. Maybe, of course, guys, there's always, situations that are going to be like, yeah, you'd want a TD there, like maybe one of those brawling American TDs, especially when you get up to like the tier 10. I'm thinking like the T28 would be good. It's a little slow, but then there's the tier 10 one is, pretty quick, and it can get up there. So anyways, I digress. The fact is that the town is where your heavies go and some mediums mixed together. Already, same as usual, guys. Boom, 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 and maybe one down here or one up here. You see them every once in a while for game, if he wants to shoot this way, or if he wants a different angle on the town, because a lot of the times they'll be hiding out. This flank will hide out right there, that kind of thing. But in general, these don't happen as much. It's normally here and here that you get your arties. Those tend to be the best spots. In an ideal situation, the best thing that could happen is if you're going this way, your lights would go right up into one of these. Whoops. If you were coming from this spawn, your lights would park in here. You'd have a TD right here, and even maybe one right here. And your mediums would be here, and your heavies would be here. I guess I should be doing M's and all that. So your lights are basically spotting everything that comes down this way, and your TDs from wherever they are can shoot at them, and then they're going to have a little bit of HP left, and by the time they get up here, our mediums get up here, and then our mediums have the advantage of the fight. Your heavies would go in here, and once they start pushing through, most of the time this would get mopped up, and then what you're going to see is TDs and mediums swinging up this way and joining the battle. If you're coming from the other spawn, look at all these dots. Anyways, if you're coming from the other spawn, again, obviously heavies and whatnot into the middle, you send a few mediums up here, you park your TD here, you got your TD here in the bush. There's also bushes along here too if you want, and your lights would be either here or here or here or here, And same thing, you're spotting anything that's going this way, you're going to snipe now. And then once these tanks get up here, they meet our mediums, and your mediums are going to be able to deal with them because they're already going to have the damage taken out. So that's the ideal play for this one. You know, that's your dream setup. Now we've seen that, let's go take a look at the map itself. All right? All right, guys, here we are on highway. So we're going to start with the north spawn here. And the key thing here is, you know, I was saying that a lot of times your lights go up to this corner. And if I could tell you one thing is like, don't do that. Send your lights over here. So let me show you what I mean is if you're in a light, you'd be ripping across here. And if you don't want, if you think you're slow, if you're not, you know, up to speed, whether your skills aren't up there yet, or if you're just in a slower light, maybe you don't have the top gear yet, then fine. Grab this bush right here. Grab this bush right here. But if you are filling up to it, then you can push up here and grab one of these lower bushes right here. These guys are the best, but you really have to be quick nowadays to get there, okay? A little bit of luck as well. So I wouldn't recommend those ones to start. When I say these grabbing these bushes, I would only suggest doing these ones, like maybe this one right here to start, or this one. They're still great though, because if you go over to them, and then let's just go up a bit, you can see where their sight lines are. You know, you can see all this. You're going to get blinded by this building right here in front of you and this one, but you still got quite a bit of stuff that you can see there. Your mediums, on the other hand, they're going to push right up, straight up, heading right up here, and this is where they're going to do their little battle. Normally they'll be in here, and the opposing team will slide up into here and try to poke around. Okay, but for your team, your lights, that's where you want to go. That's your main priority. Okay, you might want to go somewhere else over here, but you're really not doing the best for your team. So if your lights do the right thing and come up here and spot all, you're going to spot all those tanks that are crossing over to get here, plus any tank destroyers that are being a little aggressive and wanting to get low, or even over here, you're going to be able to get them. So as this side's tank destroyers, you want to be behind this bush here, like parked right about here, so you don't get spotted when you shoot. Remember, the bush disappears, so double bush, back away. So you're back here, and then you won't get spotted. There's also this bush. The nice thing about this bush here, I tend to use this one a lot myself. If you're in there and you get shot, and if you do get lit, boom, you can kind of climb down here and, you know, slide back down into this little hole, and now, you know, most guys aren't going to be able to shoot you. Don't get me wrong, it's not the, you know, the be-all, end-all. A tank over here can still shoot at you, but it just takes, you know, one flank away that can't shoot you anymore. So again, nice little tidbit there, okay? If you're playing a TD, just be aware that that's good. You know, if you're behind this bush and you do get spotted, that's why you got a double bush there. Because if you do, you're screwed. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta drive all the way back here before you get some cover. So make sure you're taken care of. The other thing about this, guys, is remember, it's not just the direction that you're looking. Okay, so if you're trying to shoot here, remember, what if there's a light tank sitting over here or in here and you shoot and they got vision of you, okay? So remember, it's not just the forward, it's the sides. But we need to move on now. Again, as a TD, you might find some come up here. This is the old meta. You'd have a TD here, which would snipe down here and snipe across here. But honestly, guys, now, the way that the tanks drive up here, there's very, very, very few times where you're going to get much shots going on that way, to the point where I wouldn't even recommend it. You got heavies already coming into town. They can do some shooting. You got mediums going with them. They can do some shooting if someone is silly enough to go the wrong way and get out in the open. But the focus should definitely be in this area right here. So the mediums go, the lights go along here, the TDs go back here, the mediums go here and into the city, and of course the heavies go into the city. One little thing as well, don't forget, you got yourself a little overpass here. If you're going to be sniping down this way here, you know, why not use the overpass as a little bit of arty cover for you? A lot of players, I see them up here and up here, they just don't think about taking the advantage of that. And arties, they normally park themselves right down in here, guys, which is a smart idea. Yeah, they're always there. It's the best place to shoot from, plus it gives them, you know, some coverage from everything right up until the last moment. So that's about it for that side. So coming over to the other spawn position here, your arties are going to be along in here, basically, every once in a while, maybe like down here for shooting into this corner. But your lights, and then figure out where you want to go. It's easy to get into the bush here. It's easy to get into the bush here. Woo! Like literally in the bush. It takes a little bit more gonads, courage to get down to this bush or even down to this bush, okay? So again, you got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. Can your tank get there before other tanks, okay? If they can't, boom, this bush or this bush. If they can, this bush or this bush. It's that simple. Your TDs, on the other hand, okay, a lot of TDs are just going to park, behind these. Myself, I like to go down here and around here, and then when I get to here, then come across here and get into these bushes. But now that's me, okay? That doesn't mean you, okay? But the reason why I do that is because when these mediums come across here, they tend to hang out behind the house there. And believe it or not, if you're right up against this building right here, dun, 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 I can look over there and I can snipe at these guys. It's like fish in a barrel. But the only problem, though, is there's a scout anywhere over here. He's going to spot me once I shoot. Now, I do have some cover, but trust me, these mediums can start firing back, and where am I going to go? Not really much coverage to get there. So you have to be careful. It's a little ballsy, but like I say, if you know your strengths and weaknesses, you know where or not you can do it. So that's basically where your TDs go. Yes, you can have another TD that comes down here. Again, this is the old meta. We would drive over here. We'd get into the bush right here, maybe knock this tree down and shoot here. Have at it. I'm just saying that the likelihood that you're going to have targets to shoot at is minimal compared to over here, because that over there is where the most of the battle happens. Here, you got your heavies that come from that spawn. They tend to come right, and this is why I'm saying you don't get the opportunity. Before, this was a lot lower, guys, so you used to be able to snipe across. Now, the topography lets you come right up in here and come in this little low area right here, and then up along, and boom, there you go. So that's why sometimes Artie will, instead of being here, they'll come over here into the bushes because they're trying a different angle. They're trying to get through this way right here. And, if you're here, they're coming through this way instead of having to go over the buildings and whatnot. But that's just a little tidbit for you. And that's it. And there's no secret spots in here that I'm aware of. There's looking under the trains. There's looking through openings. Yes, those kind of things you have to look for. But there's no, real wicked secret spots or anything in there. So, again, that's it, guys. I hope this helps. It's all about lights getting the spotting early so that the TDs and the mediums and everyone can do damage. It's about the heavies going to the city and brawling, and the mediums going to the corner. And if the TDs do their job, the mediums should be able to wipe out the other mediums real quick, and then the flank can just move up to the town. And when you see that happens, that's when you know you've got a good match. That's what I would call the ultimate scenario. Lights cover the middle area. The TDs kill anything they see there, plus the mediums that are going to the corner from either flank. The TDs start basically whittling them down, and then the mediums that go there can just kill them off. And then once that's done, push up to the town, help your heavies out, bada bing, bada boom. You're all going to drive back to the enemy's base and kill the Artie, and good job, good game, you're done. All right, guys. Hope you like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, if you want to know when I'm bringing out my next video, simply set up the notifications through YouTube and you'll get notified. And of course, most important but not last is the Twitch. Come on over anytime. I stream a lot. Get hooked up on the notification on that too. I'd highly recommend it. And the reason being, guys, excuse me, my nose is just driving me nuts. Sorry about that. But anyways, the reason why I say that is because streaming can give you an instant answer. Meaning, if you have a question about the game, something's confusing you or it's just not working right, and you have a question about it, if you come over to my Twitch stream and ask me a question, I answer it. The longest you're gonna have to wait is for me to finish the match, because what I tend to do is I play a match and I don't deal with the chat. I deal with the match so that you guys, the viewers, can have the best me in the game. If I'm sitting there reading, this is what I learned early on as I started streaming. If I'm like yada yada yada, I'm doing two things. I'm already thinking two things because I'm thinking, okay, I gotta be like, I'm more aggressive when I'm streaming because I want the streamers or the viewers to have something good to see, right? So I'm already thinking about other things. The last thing I need is chat. So the longest you're gonna have to wait if you put a question in is basically for the end of the match. And then I go through all the chat. I always make sure, I always tell people highlight any questions, but I still read everything to make sure I don't miss anything. So come on over, ask the question. That's the reason why I stream. I make these videos and I stream to help any new players out there, or anyone that just has questions. So come on over, man. That's all I'm saying to you. So again, hope you enjoyed the videos. I'll keep making them. Let me know what you think about them. I always try to answer all the comments as quickly as possible. And so far, so good. Like I said, I hope you enjoy them. And we'll keep doing them. So until the next time, Mr. BeetleBum, out.